Woo!
All right, so I brought my notes because this is my first time. I'm going to read from my notes the entire time, and you guys just act like I'm funny. Well, actually, I've been pretty caught up in the recent gay marriage debate and everything, the politics of it. It's kind of been a big thing lately. I tend to be a pretty liberal guy, but I wasn't always the awesome guy I am now. And I grew up. My father was a traveling preacher, and I was homeschooled for about 7 years of my life. And during this time, we just drove everywhere. We from Canada all the way down to Louisiana. It was a pretty good time for a little kid. Except for our schooling, we had to be homeschooled because we were traveling so much. And during the time, my parents were like, all right, we'll do this. We got this. Because my dad's a preacher, he didn't need to graduate from high school. And my mom didn't graduate from middle school, so they thought that was a good way to educate me. But it was okay because in homeschooling, you only need one book, and that's the Bible. And so we my dad being a preacher, he thought that he was going to teach me, and it was going to come up with some pretty good ideas for teaching me. And I was terrible at math, and my dad said, all right, well, what we'll do is I'll take this this book from the Bible, or a story from the Bible, and I'll teach my son. And because he's a good time. It's not mean, but it's true. Which, actually, I'm a little slow. So actually, to be honest, my dad's all right, so when Jesus, these were word problems for us, math word problems, said when Jesus needed to feed the multitude, and he only had 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, how does he divide that fairly among all the people? And I sit down, I was probably hard about it. I was like, I got this. He doesn't, because that's socialism. Because we're pretty conservatives, that's it. So recently we kind of got into this debate, me and my dad, about the traditional marriage and the model for traditional marriage and what makes a biblical marriage, and that this whole allowing gay people to get married is crazy. And I said, Dad, that seems nuts. Because I remember, because I talk like that, I said, Dad, that seems nuts. I remember in Genesis, there was Adam and Eve, and then they had 2 sons. And so I was like, all right, where do we go from here? So the first traditional biblical marriage was a man and a wife having sex with their sons to create more population. And that was the first example of a marriage in our Bible. Look it up. It's in there. I promise. So of course the Bible isn't very fair to women. So there's a possibility there were sisters. And so Cain and Abel might have had sisters, and that's cool. So they could have sex with them. So the second example in the Bible of marriage is brothers having sex with their sister to create more people. But that's okay, because the next holy person in the Bible is Abraham, God's favorite Jew. Again, not offensive. It seemed offensive when I was saying it to myself in the mirror earlier, and I was like, all right, everybody's gonna be like, God, come on. But now it's not so bad. Where was I? Abraham. It's not on that page. No, I'm just kidding. So Abraham, he went on and Abraham married his sister, Sarah, and then they tried for years and years and couldn't have kids. They tried and couldn't have kids. And so then he was like, all right, maybe brothers and sisters can't have kids together, so I'm going to have sex with the maid Hagar, which is a pretty sexy name. But had sex and had their first kid with Hagar. And this was in the Bible. This is all in the Bible. You guys think I'm joking. I'm not. So then there was David. comes the next guy, and he was like, all right, I killed Goliath. I can do what I want. So he took a lot of wives and concubines. And what concubines are actually prostitutes. But that was cool in the Bible because they call them concubines. And so they have all these kids, and he's like, all right, wait, I see this girl on top of the roof, and I kind of like her. So he has sex with this girl that was bathing named Bathsheba, and sent her husband to the front lines to die. So this would be totally cool. And so he goes on and he has sex and has his firstborn with this lady. So in the Bible, to sum it up, let me go to the end because I talked too long. So you can have sex with your parents. You can have sex with your siblings. You can have sex with the woman that you're peeping Tom over the top of your roof on top in the Bible. But for some reason, two consenting adults cannot have sex because that would be against the Bible. Well, that seems totally not insane to me. Anyways, thanks, guys.